Joining us now is Otie McKinley. He is a media and communications manager for the Michigan Economic Development Corporation. Otie, good to have you with us here in the Megacast.
Dave, what a pleasure. So happy I could be here and chat with you while Tyler's left you to your own devices.
Yeah, well, every once in a while they let the boss, get on here and play around a little bit and have some fun. And I'm just sitting here at home at my kitchen table and having a nice conversation with you today. Well, a couple of people tune in. So thank you very much for being here with us. You're a frequent guest. And from the CEO's chair, I'll just tell you that we really appreciate a relationship with the Michigan Economic Development Corporation. And you and Dave Lorenz and everybody else have been so giving of your time. And we really appreciate it.
Well, we are very thankful that our partnership as well, and be able to spread the word about this great state.
All right. So, Tim High, we just got off the line with Tim. I don't know if you heard any of our conversation with him a moment or two ago, but Mackinac Island, the island of the year, that's worth bringing up one more time, huh?
It is. How cool is that? Travel and Leisure just came out with that a couple of weeks ago now. But what an incredible location, what an incredible recognition of such a unique and wonderful destination that Michigan gets to call home to. We're very fortunate. There were a number of resorts on the island that also earned top honors. So it was a great announcement. I know Tim and the entire team up there is incredibly proud.
Well, we, all around our state of Michigan, we have so many things to highlight. We couldn't really even get to all of them, but other thing we mentioned, and again, another thing worth recapping is this big tourism conference where we're marketing experts from all over the country who are promoting their communities. And we virtually every community, the small ones like Indian River, the big ones like Detroit and Grand Rapids of Michigan, they all have these convention and visitor bureaus to help promote the community and drive business. And, when someone travels to one of our communities, it drives businesses beyond just the hotels and the tourist destinations. So it's really good. But back to my point, that whole industry has decided to get together this week in Grand Rapids. Talk a little bit about that. That's great news.
Oh, the ESTO conference.
Yeah.
I will be in attendance, and this is my first ESTO conference, and I'm excited about all of the thought leaders and the educational ceremony, the educational trainings that's going to be going on for the week, the bulk of the week anyways, starting tomorrow. And it's going to bring in over 1,000 tourism professionals, and the coming together of that group is incredibly invaluable. And that's from a personal and a selfish perspective, quite honestly, to be able to take away the learnings and best use cases that other CVBs and tourism organizations are bringing to the table. But it is also a wonderful asset for the economy in downtown Grand Rapids, with all the people going to the small shops and the restaurants. The small business support is a very important ancillary benefactor of conferences like this.
Yeah, I'm in a related business with the rest of what I do. And I was in Charlotte, North Carolina, a week and a half ago, working on a conference down there for a little bit of my audio visual work. 99% of it I do in Michigan. Every once in a while I go somewhere else. So it's fun when I go somewhere else to see another state and how they do everything they're doing. And, they've said it, I've heard it from you guys, you and Lorenz and everybody here a million times, but to see it in action at a presentation down there, just talking about how important these events are, these conventions that come to our downtowns, because they just spill over, into every bar, into every restaurant, into every destination, every sightseeing point, and just, our entire downtowns, that injects so much money into the economy. And that's why you guys, continue to promote Michigan through all of your travel promotion of the state.
We do. And, Dave says it all the time. We are, to have the job that we do, we almost don't deserve it, because we're so lucky to be in a state that we love so much, and to be able to promote the different regions of it, from the western tip of the UP all the way down to Southeast Michigan and everywhere in between. You mentioned Indian River. I think kind of a little hidden gem. It's kind of an on the way city to get to the UP or to Mackinac Island. But I'm actually taking my wife and my niece up there camping this weekend. So we're excited about supporting that little small town.
Well, it's good. We just worked on their website and finished that for them, and they are very excited. It's just one of the smallest, marketing organizations in the state. And Indian River is a gem. I mean, the chain of lakes area. You're really going to enjoy yourself. You've
Oh,
got,
yeah.
all these lakes that connect from almost over by Petoskey into the Crooked Lake, the Crooked River, Burt Lake, Mullet Lake, all the way to Lake Huron in the Straits of Mackinac. And I'm telling you, Burt, Mullet, Crooked, these are some of the most beautiful lakes that you will find anywhere. And Indian River sits right in the heart of all that. You're going to have a great time.
We're looking forward to it. We actually go to Indian River 2 or 3 times a year because we think it is just such a great destination. There's so many options for activities. There's a great little food scene there.
There is.
So we love it. We're excited to get up there this weekend.
On the other end of the spectrum, we're coming back from COVID, and I think one of the biggest returns of this year has got to be the International Auto Show coming back to Detroit. Thank goodness it's finally here. Finally, we're able to reestablish the auto show, and really the first time ever that it's been during a time of year when there's not 3 feet of snow outside. How big is that to have that back this year?
Well, not unlike ESTO in Grand Rapids, the Detroit Auto Show happening this year is a huge boost to Detroit's economy. And coming out of the pandemic, the smaller towns, tourist destinations, the food and beverage industry, of course, that was disproportionately impacted. But the convention industry was a big loss for these larger urban areas. And so to be able to get them back into these cities, bringing in people, in this case, from all around the globe, during a time where people will be able to spend more time walking to destinations in weather that isn't January in Michigan. Although winter in Michigan is fantastic, it does limit the amount of places that people can walk to or choose to walk to. So, and this show is a whole new layout, a whole new program. So the industry is excited, the tourism industry is excited. I know Detroit and their organization is excited to have it back. And we always recommend people to go down there. And this year is going to be even more immersive during the public days. And so we're really looking forward to that happening.
People forget about, they don't really forget about it because like 500,000 people go to these events, but we talk about tourism. We're always talking about beaches and lakes. And, we got a great NASCAR thing going here in Michigan at MIS, and we're right in the heart of it. And that's just another one of those things that is really great to see come back strong post-COVID.
Absolutely. Anytime, any festival, even farmers markets, they're bringing people into an area that in larger numbers than may normally show up. And NASCAR is no different. Just 2 weeks ago was the Rocket Mortgage Golf Tournament. LPGA Senior Tour golf events. The importance is invaluable.
Otie, I even heard, I read the paper today. I don't know what event it is related to. That Jack Nicklaus is going to be here in Michigan too. So yeah, we're right in the middle of everything. So I know you got some things on your plate. So I'm going to do something I always like to do as an interviewer. You've not been on with me before, but what I'm going to ask you to do, you ready? No, what's he going to do here? Ask yourself the next question. What is the number one thing that you want to talk about? So ask yourself the next question, and then if you would provide us an answer as well.
All right. How does tourism and the auto industry play hand in hand?
Well, see, I couldn't have said it better myself. How does tourism and the auto industry play hand in hand?
Well, both of them are incredibly important to the state of Michigan. And what we just announced this week, the governor announced in conjunction with the governors of Wisconsin, Illinois, and Indiana, a Lake Michigan EV circuit. And so what that is these 4 states have partnered together to implement charging stations on the 1,100-mile loop around Lake Michigan. And so these charging stations will be at wineries, breweries, shops, hotels, just all the way around the lake. And how that's important is as the auto industry is transitioning more and more into EV vehicles, how do we limit the range anxiety of an electric vehicle? And so if we can provide this loop of EV chargers, people can travel up and down the coast of Wisconsin, through Illinois, through Indiana, up the west coast of Michigan, and know that they've got the confidence to find chargers all along the way. So it really opens up a level of exposure to these small towns along the coastline that may not generally have a full infrastructure of charging stations. And so opening those communities up, it is just going to be an incredible boost to their economy. And it's going to introduce a lot of people to communities and shops and restaurants that they may not have participated in or gone through. If they're shooting up 131 on the west side of the state, get off 131, take the coast up. You go through just these charming communities, and now you don't have to worry about range anxiety.
Otie McKinley from the Michigan Economic Development Corporation with us. That's well said. Very important. That's great news for the state. Yeah, I mean, we do have range anxiety, and then you're thinking about going somewhere. And if you are going to take some time to charge your vehicle, why not, rather than do it somewhere that you don't really want to wait for a half an hour, why not go to like Sleeping Bear sand dunes and spend 4 hours there, or go to Grand Haven to the beach, or spend the afternoon in Port Huron. I was in Port Huron last Saturday, and I just forgot how cool it is to sit there at the Blue Water Convention Center and Freighters. If you've not been there, by the way, really, I know you have, really cool restaurant right in the river, and watch a Freighters roll by. So, having those charging stations in places like that, not somewhere that you got to spend a half an hour, or 2 hours, somewhere that you want to.
Exactly.
I mean, it's brilliant. So that's great news.
Yeah, we just now a couple of weeks ago, we unveiled the first charging station on the loop, and that was at the Holland State Park. So what a gorgeous place to hang out, have a picnic, spend time with your family. And that's what it's all about, is creating memories and creating experiences.
Otie McKinley with us from the Michigan Economic Development Corporation and Travel Michigan. Joining us here as we're talking travel on the Michigan Megacast. Dave Scott in for Tyler Keefe. Tyler Keefe is out covering high school football. We'll see some great video from him on Monday. And let's talk a little bit about how we're doing this year. So, Michigan did pretty well last year. I think a lot of it, especially Northern Michigan, I heard from a lot of our tourist destinations, and a lot of it was in-state travel. Mm-hmm. Are we seeing that strong in-state travel again this year? And are we making progress with people that maybe have to travel a little bit further?
We are, right? Over the past 2 years, there has been this pent-up demand for people to travel. And with some of the challenges of traveling by air, a lot of road tripping is happening, a lot of regional tourism coming into the state. And, Northern Michigan is rebounding well. But we always think of, as you mentioned, we always think of tourism in Northern Michigan. And while that is an incredibly important part of Northern Michigan's economy, it is also our vibrant urban centers, the Detroits, Lansings, Saginaw's, Grand Rapids, where tourism to some people doesn't mean going to Detroit and spending a weekend in Detroit, but what a great city to spend some time in, with Eastern Market, in the culture, in the shows, in the food scene,
Absolutely.
In the history. It's often overlooked as a work city and not a destination city. And same thing with Grand Rapids, right? What a vibrant scene that is, and excited to be there this week for ESTO.
Well, and I think more and more people in our region, I think that's gone. I mean, if you live in Cleveland or Northern Ohio or Pittsburgh or Indianapolis or Chicago, Cincinnati, people in our region, they already know. No, Detroit's a fun place to go for a weekend. We're going to go there, maybe catch a Tigers and Lions game, watch our team when we're there, hit the casinos, go hit some restaurants. We have come so far. I don't know if this is the best story to tell, and we'll wrap things up here in a minute, but I like to think back. I think back to where Detroit was 25, 30 years ago. And I remember seeing this article, and I think it was in the news or the Free Press. And it was a picture, and I don't mean to say anything. I ride a motorcycle myself, so I'm not saying anything negative about guys who ride motorcycles. But the picture was a guy on a big old Harley wearing some leather, and his T-shirt said, "I'm so bad, I vacation in Detroit." And and I think that's what people thought of our region 20, 25, 30 years ago. That is so gone. We are not that we wouldn't encourage you to jump on your bike and come to Michigan and Detroit. We do, but there's such a great experience. The Riverwalk in Detroit, and my lights are failing me. I'll fix it when we go to break. But all these great things are happening here in our area. So just really amazing environment that we have here. And thanks for listening to my little story there.
No, absolutely. It's a great story. And, one of the hardest things that Detroit is challenged with now is the city has outgrown the perception of what the city was. And it is a vibrant, lively downtown area. And it is not what I think a lot of people who aren't from Michigan think about when they think of Detroit.
Otie, thank you very much for joining us. I got to take a break. My batteries have worn out on my lights. One of the I guess shortcomings of working at home. I'll make an adjustment in a minute. Always good to be with you. It's so much fun talking tourism, and I appreciate you jumping on our program today.
Absolutely, Dave. Thanks so much. I appreciate it, and have a fantastic weekend. And don't forget, your trip begins at Michigan.org.
Lorenz would be so proud of you. Thank you very much.